Joining us is the author of The Big Black Lie, How I Learned the Truth About Democracy, about the Democratic Party. Kevin Jackson, first of all, what do you make of the latest information from Congress that, I mean, there are increasing concerns about this possibly getting out of hand, some of this violent imagery and rhetoric?
Well, I've been to many Tea Parties around the country, and I've yet to see any real violence towards anybody. So I think it's a bit overstated.
Were you there on Saturday night? Were you there on Saturday, though, at the Capitol when Congressman Lewis and other members of the Congressional Black Caucus were greeted with derogatory racial slurs when another member of Congress was spat upon? Were you there for that?
Wasn't there for that, but saw the video about it and determined that a lot of what they were saying had happened actually hadn't occurred. Like I said, I've been to hundreds of Tea Parties around the country. What I can tell you is I've never seen any blacks lynched at one of them. So that's still one of the things that's only for the Democrats to hold a distinction about.
But Kevin, are you okay when President Obama, the first African-American president, is depicted the way he's depicted on some of these signs, whether it's the Hitler mustache or whether it's being depicted as like the Joker? I mean, is that okay with you?
It's par for the course. Every president that's been elected has gone through something like that. Bush has been was demonized as a gorilla, as a chimpanzee, as a cowboy, cowpoke, and a host of other things. In fact, he was depicted as Hitler many, many times. I did a blog about the idea that Bush was depicted as Hitler more than Obama was. So that's just par for the course. That's what happens. One side wins, the other side goes after him. So I don't see any difference between Obama and any other president in this respect.
Well, do you remember any Republican members of Congress or Republican Party officers that had bricks thrown through their front windows? I mean, that's happened now half a dozen times over the past few days.
Yeah, in fact, there's been many incidences where Republicans have been attacked, whether it's at the local level up to the national level. It's not our responsibility to name them. The point is that everything that you guys want to say.
You're making the point that there's an equivalency here, and we have evidence and we have videos and photographs of people who of incidents in Niagara, New York, Rochester, New York, Arizona, Ohio, and Kansas, where Democratic Party offices, congressional offices, were targeted with stones or bricks thrown through the window. And you're saying that that's happened to Republicans, and all I'm asking is name them.
Who threw them? Or do you have the actual evidence of the people who threw them? In many cases, these are Democrat operatives that are doing a lot of this stuff. So when you can bring me evidence that says this was a Republican person, that did that, then I'll believe you.
Democratic operatives who are destroying their own property so that somehow people would just, I don't know, just choose to blame them on Republicans? You really believe that?
Yeah, it's kind of like when there are riots in Watts and black people go and loot their own stores and you wonder why did it happen. It's the same reason. So when you can tell me with complete evidence that the people that are doing this are Republicans, and I'll be happy to answer your question. But until then, all you've got is anecdotal evidence.
Analysis is illogical.
The same way that you have anecdotal evidence around the Tea Party groups and saying that everybody's a racist, when I'm an example of a person who's been to these events, not one single racial incident can I point at, and yet you want to have me here to make me talk about how racist they are.
I'm not even saying most of the Tea Partiers are racist. I'm saying that there is a racist fringe to this, and that I wish Republican leaders and Tea Party supporters like yourself would condemn that.
Well, there's a racist fringe to the Democrat Party because, as I said, I've yet to see a black man lynched at a Tea Party. But I do know that the Democrat Party has lynched black people. So if you want to make that equivalency, then let's talk about that for a bit.
Kevin Jackson. Kevin, you know I disagree with you on a lot of stuff, but I do appreciate you coming on today.
My pleasure.
Thank you.